signs that I can see on my way. I just use a little something to brighten up this day after day. The words you said sunk straight into my veins, and now I'm empty, dragging around these chains. Stuck here living in this world that I helped make. Thought she found love, but in the end she was betrayed.
Just a gypsy with a full tank of gas. Not sure where my next meal's from. Put down the pedal and sing into the sun. Moonshine, light my way. Won't you take me down south to stay? Tomorrow is one more day. So moonshine, light my way. And all aboard and we're ready to go. Rocking down the highway to another sold-out show. And I smoke because I roll my own. Reading all the billboards telling me to go home. Moonshine, light my way. Won't you take me down south to stay? Tomorrow is one more day. So moonshine, light my way. Had a little trouble way back when. Life ain't easy, back on the road again. Got myself lost way out of town. Said a prayer to the dashboard and I would not back down. Moonshine, light my way. Won't you take me down south instead? Tomorrow is one more day. So moonshine, light of my way. Coming through the fog at the line. Better cross your fingers that you'll make it home alive. Shadows jump out in front of my car. Keep your dice on the dashboard and your lightning in the jar. Moonshine, light my way. Won't you take me down south instead? Tomorrow is one more day. So moonshine, light of my way. I let moonshine light of my way. Thank you. That's
Good morning, Walrus Nation. It's a beautiful Tuesday. A little hot and humid this morning, though, ain't it? Welcome to summertime. So much for spring, right? Hey, and speaking of the weather, last night here in Harford County, we have an emergency manager named Mr. Rick Ayers. And anytime the weather is a possible potentially bad deal, you know, severe weather's coming, you'll get that robo call from Mr. Rick Ayers. And if you all got it last night, you know what I'm talking about. Potential for high winds, blah, blah, blah. So Pam and I look at each other and go, yeah, we both got the call. Sounded better put. You can thank us, because for the first time in my life, I was proactive instead of, well, let's just see what happens. We'll clean it up if it's a mess. Put all the projectiles or potential projectiles, safe place, folded them all up, blah, blah, blah. Of course, a little storm did roll through the Abingdon area here in Harford County, Maryland, and we're on the northwest corner of the bay there for people who understand Maryland's geographical location to the Chesapeake Bay. Southern Maryland, Northern Virginia, those folks look like they had the potential to really get hit hard by the storm. It went a little further south than they were originally thinking, and I hope everybody down there came through the storm fine with no damage and nobody injured or cars washed away or nothing like that. But yet it did thunder a little. Now, that leads to another problem here at the Walrus compound. Yes, we are those crazy dog people that you kind of hope don't move in next to you. Yeah, we're them. And because Holly, our middle girl, the only girl we have, but she's the middle fur baby in the house, does not. And when I say does not, I mean will claw through the door to get to the basement, does not like thunder. So even with the very small rolls of thunder we got, it was enough to upset her. And so, yeah, we spent the evening laying in the floor of the basement trying to calm down our poor shaking little dog. And she's not little, she's 75 pounds, but she still don't like thunder. We'll try to tear up anything that walks up and down her street. Don't come in her house, because she will stick her tongue so far down your throat, you'll think you're now engaged to her, whether you're a male or a female. Holly's one of those big, aggressive girls that just wants to show you love, but it's often perceived of, oh, God, she's going to eat me. And so when you are a guest at the Walrus compound, there's certain things you have to accept. We have dogs, and they love you, and you're going to know it before you leave, because one's going to put his dirty paws all over you. God bless Engineer Midgie. I told you Dave Benzotti from Benzotti Live, and Engineer Mitchie came by Saturday night. Bless her heart, she forgot about how our dogs act and wore white pants, and they were a slight tan to maybe brownish color, looked like a collage kind of type color for her white pants. I offered to buy her new ones. She said absolutely not, but you're going to get dirty, and Holly's going to kiss you. Those are the things you have to accept when you come to the Walrus compound. And if a thunderstorm's happen to roll up while you're here, well, we're all coming down to the studio, which is affectionately the basement, and hang out with Holly till this passes. Again, I hope those in Southern Maryland, Northern Virginia, you all survived any storms that rolled through there. Even Montgomery County, as we were watching the news, they broke in with a Montgomery County in Maryland, had a tornado watch or something. They was telling them to take cover. So it's over. It's done. Whatever Mother Nature allowed to happen happened. We'll get through it. Just be thankful you're still here, no matter what happens. Because as long as you're still here, the opportunity for you to figure out and also achieve your destiny is still an opportunity. You can't do that from the other side of the grass, y'all. So no matter how bad things are, remember today is a gift of life, and it's your opportunity to do with it what you want to. We got a lot of fun stuff going on here today at 10:30, and at exactly about 10:30. That's 13 minutes away. Can't do my math. About 13 minutes. No. One of my clocks says it's 10:17, and the other one says it's 10:12. I think the 10:12 one is the more accurate, so we're going to go with that. We're about 18 minutes away from talking to our buddy Paul Fabiano, the creator and photographer, host of Vendor Life. Vendor Life TV. It's a YouTube channel he's got. He's out in Arizona right now. Talked to him last night and set up the phone call with him. So sometime around the 10:30 time frame, we'll be talking to Paul Fabiano. The Walrus Wonders question of the day is up. It's on my personal page. I don't think I shared it to my Thunder Walrus fan page. So you got to go to the personal page to get it. But if you were given $1,000 and had to spend it today, by the time the sun went down, or the time you went to bed tonight, you had to have spent that $1,000. How would you spend it? Got some pretty cool answers up there. In the beginning, like the first four, and we'll discuss them a little later on in the show, it was a very divided practicality. Two men had answered and were totally frivolous. Buy pipes for my bike, do this for my bike. The two women that responded right after them were like pay off bills they were very responsible answers, and I was thinking, oh God, I'm seeing where this is going to go. And thank God for the wifey, dear Pam Missouri. She was the first woman that I saw. I'll have to go back and look. She was spending it on a spa day and a really good dinner. Right on. You got to love that. Spend it on you and share a dinner with someone you love. That'd be the best way to spend $1,000 I could think of. So appreciate that, Pam Pie. I got a little music for you. Some Eric's Cross coming up. Paulie Fabiano at the bottom of the hour, and around 11 we'll be discussing the Walrus Wonders question of the day. In between that, I got a lot of funny for you. Well, I hope a lot of funny. The stories we found to discuss today, I think you'll find interesting. This is the Walrus Attacks podcast on Spreaker.com. Thanks for joining the program, y'all.
Breaking away every piece of stone there in the shape of what is waiting to be free. give it May. Take its wings and fly the sea of change. I pray the storm don't blow him down. You know I'm breaking away. Yes, I am breaking away. Oh, today. I said today. Raging that gale, gather your wind and trim in your sail, and ride the wave to where you're bound. Then open your eyes and see the light on the other side, falling below on solid ground. Don't you know I'm breaking away? Yes, I am breaking away. Oh, today. Today, yeah. I said today. I'm breaking away. There's no more pain and no chains. I'm free of the storm weighing me down. Yes, I'm breaking away. No longer am I afraid to be brave. In this world I am found. Breaking away. I'm breaking away. Today. Yeah, yeah. Oh, today. Today, yeah. I'll say today. Today, yeah. Yes, I'm breaking away. Breaking away. Every piece of stone there in the shape of what is waiting to be free.
Welcome to the program, Walrus Nation. It's Tuesday, May the 15th. This is the official second broadcast of the Walrus Attacks podcast. I appreciate those who are listening live, those who listen at your leisure, and for most importantly, those who share the link. That's how my audience is going to grow, and that's how we're going to continue to be able to be here, as well as come seeing me at events. And later on in the show, we'll have the rundown about the Outlaw Jamboree this weekend. We're keeping our fingers crossed that weather holds out. Rock Hall Spring Bike Fest is the very next day on Sunday the 20th. And we're just keeping our fingers crossed and playing it by ear as far as the weather goes and how well those events are going to be with the weather, if they don't even get postponed again. Also, I've got some updates about two events I'll be doing in conjunction with Knights of the Fallen. It's a charity organization. They have two events coming up over in Cecil County, so I'll have two opportunities to see my folks in the Cecil County, Maryland, southern Pennsylvania, and northern Delaware. Maybe even get a few of you from Jersey over this way. So all that's still to come. Now, for this first part of Let's Get to Being Entertaining, everybody should take a little pride in what you do, who you are. And I know as a truck driver, I was a CDL licensed truck driver for many years, and I was proud of my ability to handle my truck and drive it in a professional and also skilled manner. I knew what I was doing with my truck. I could back it in anywhere. As truck drivers, you'd see an amateur driver and be like, dude, you've got so much to learn. You know, you're an amateur. You need more practice. Any carpenters, brick masons, concrete finishers, hairdressers, you could develop this kind of confidence and pride in yourself without being hurtful to others. Now, I know as truck drivers, we used to make a lot of fun of J.B. Hunt and Schneider drivers. One of the jokes was even, how do you say J.B. Hunt in German? Schneider. And, you know, because they would take anybody with very little experience and just because they could pass a written test and handle that truck in a parking lot, they give them a license and turn them loose. Now, back to the original point of when you see amateurs trying to live what your life is. You know, I consider myself a professional at very few things, but partying is one of them. Now, guys like this dude in this first story make it hard for guys like me because they're amateurs. And I think everybody handles themselves like this poor clown. And he's only 20. So the better question is, how did he get that drunk? But this poor guy gets so drunk that somehow he tumbles over the 4th floor railing of the Luxor Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, it had not yet been determined at the time of the writing of this story whether he actually fell or jumped, but it was confirmed and verified by blood tests at the hospital that alcohol was definitely involved. But God even helps the stupid people, because when he went off, he fell into some decorations, according to... Man, these people got to get some names my Polish ass can pronounce. Kisfalvi. And I'm going to say Kisfalvi. There we go. Who was a spokesperson for the police department, said luckily some of the decorations broke his fall and he suffered only minor injuries. Listen, don't go out and do anything beyond your own capabilities. That includes driving fast, running downhill, because sooner or later gravity's going to take over if your little short, stumpy legs can't keep up. And I speak from experience because I have short, stumpy legs, and I have fallen running downhill before. Didn't mean to, just my body was moving faster than my short, little, stumpy legs could. You do the math. Don't do anything. If you're not strong enough, don't try to pick up 400 pounds. But yet we'll go out and pour alcohol down our throats until the point of you. Saturday night, example, saw a friend get pretty drunk. We started talking in me and him both. When you start speaking in unknown tongues, you are too drunk. You have to learn to have limits. We don't do that as human beings, though. Well, we'll just keep pouring them down because our friends are. Well, your friends may be people like me, professionals. And I know friends of mine that are like expert professionals. I don't even try to drink with them. I'm not capable of doing what you do. So I'm not going to. But by God, don't fall off the 4th floor balcony of the Luxor Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. You make us professional drunks look bad. This is the Walrus Attacks podcast. You're listening to the live broadcast from Tuesday, May the 15th, 2018. The sun's shining. It's hot and humid today, calling for a little more opportunities for thunderstorms this evening here in the mid-Atlantic region. So get outside and enjoy that summertime of heat and humidity before the thunderstorms roll in this evening. I'm going to have Mr. Paulie Fabiano on the phone from Vendor Life TV after this next music break. Here's a little Joe Cat. The devil is a friend of mine.
Up from Reno, I was trailed by 20 hounds. Didn't get to sleep that night. The morning came around. Set out rolling, for to take my time. Friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight. Ran into the devil, baby, loaned me 20 bills. Spent the night in Utah, cable in the hills. Sit out rolling, boat to take my time. Friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight. Got the reasons why I cry awake each lonely night. First one's named Sweet Anne Marie, she's my heart's delight. Second one is prison bed and the sheriff's on my trail. If it catches up with me, spend my life in jail. Got a wife in Chino, baby, born in Cherokee. First one said she got my child, but it don't look like me. Sit out rolling, go to take my time. Friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight. Each lonely night. First one's named Sweet Anne Marie, and she's my heart's delight. Second one is prison bait, and the sheriff's on my trail. If he catches up with me, spend my life in jail. You can borrow from the devil, baby, you can borrow from a friend. Devil give you 50, but your friend will give you 10. Sit out on the boat to take my time. Friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, I just might get some sleep tonight. All right.
Okay. All right, Walrus Nation, as promised and built up, the one and only Mr. Paul Fabiano is joining us on the line. Paul, how are you today, brother?
Very good. Good morning, Mr. Thunder. Good morning to Walrus Nation out there.
So, Paul Fabiano is a guy. You've got a few minutes here. We're going to share a little background information. Paul Fabiano and I met through a mutual friend, and we use that term loosely, Mr. Johnny Lang. Now you all know Johnny from Strip Club Choppers, and you know him and I have a very dear, deep relationship, and he's affectionately known as my younger brother, even though the SOB's 6 years older than I am. And so Paulie also had a business relationship with Johnny, and we met, God, was it 4 or 5 years ago in Daytona?
It's got to be 5 years now, yeah. Yep.
So Paulie and I meet, and we feel like, twins separated at birth. We just click. He's one of those guys that understands what a biker life is. It's not about owning a motorcycle. It's not about going to Daytona, Myrtle Beach. It's about a mindset of, I'm going to live my life as free as I can possibly live it, and not free monetarily without being restrained, tied down, or strapped down. And to share that with people, Paul has been the co-creator. You and Laura created this together, is that right?
That is correct. I had been talking about it for several years about how we start with some cameras and just film the great and wild stuff that we get to see, that we get to be a part of every weekend.
And so
Laura actually took the initiative, and and put the push on and got the channel up and running and handed me a camera and said, dude, just film, you know?
And I've been watching your videos. You can go to YouTube and search Vendor Life TV. Go check it out, because you will not believe some of the stuff that out there on the road we as vendors and pretty much modern day carnies experience. The coolest one you and I were talking about last night was, even when things go bad, they turn out good. And we before we came on air, we're talking about that positive energy, you know, and it just positive energy breeds positive outcomes. Well, Paul's going to share me and him are going to share this story with you. Your roof blew off of the motorhome you were previously driving, a portion of it, correct?
A portion of the roof flew off as I was driving across Interstate 40.
So,
we were heading from Cave Creek, Arizona, for the bike week there, into Laughlin, and we had ridiculous crosswinds, which if you've been in the Arizona area, you know that's pretty common. The dust storms start up and all of that. So the roof literally just peeled and flipped back. It was a 24-foot motorhome, and a good 15 feet of it was flapping in the breeze.
Now this is this is documented on Facebook and his Vendor Life TV, because I saw. Now you've got it. You patched it with Gorilla Tape.
Well, me being the creative vendor that I am, always having a roll of Gorilla Tape around, because we've given up duct tape for Gorilla Tape. And I hate to throw product placement in there, but I got to say, Gorilla Tape's the best tape on the market. So I climb up on the motorhome on the side of I-40, and I'm standing on the roof so it won't blow away while I'm on it. And I Gorilla Tape this thing down. I put a nice little patch on there.
And let me tell you, it was a very good-looking patch as well. I mean, you did a nice job with that Gorilla Tape.
Well, you know, I don't consider myself, and this leads you to your roll-up in this morning, I don't consider myself much of a professional at anything, but at least what I try to do, I try to make the attempt of, okay, let's make this make sense. Seal it from the front back, keep the wind out, you know, stuff like this. What do I know, right? You know?
Yeah, but, you know, logic and common sense take you a very long way in life.
Nowadays, common sense being probably the most mystery in a lot of people really will carry you most of the distance.
Yeah, you know. So, long story short, he gets where he's going, gets the insurance company involved because he has full coverage insurance on his motorhome. Then, for some reason, somebody decided they wanted to put 2 brand new windshields in this motorhome for you.
Correct. While sending pictures of the roof in to the insurance company, they noticed the windshields have cracks in it. So they said, well, while we're waiting on this top, let's go ahead and put new windshields in there for you. So Florida being the state that it is and full windshield coverage, I have a zero deductible on windshield. So I said, okay. So we go, they put the windshields in, I get the motorhome back. About 2 days after that,
yeah, I was going to say, at what point did they call and tell you now the motorhome's totaled?
2 days after putting in the windshield. And no sooner do I get notified that the motorhome is totaled, but I'm like, because everything's an app nowadays, on my State Farm app, I noticed a bill come through for the windshield. $3,500 worth of windshield. And then we totaled the motorhome.
That's awesome.
And now I had just put a brand new fridge in there, you know, some nice stuff. It's a good motorhome. It runs great. It had the Chevy 454. It was high mileage, but well taken care of. Absolutely. Everything in this motorhome works. And I want to be clear. When I say the roof blew off the motorhome, there's several layers of the roof. So it's not like I had an instant skylight in there, but it was structurally sound. It was a fiberglass piece on the top.
It was
this fiberglass.
It was the weatherproofing to keep it sealed tight.
To keep it sealed tight and all, correct. Now, this fiberglass piece turns out to be another $7,000 job.
And what year motorhome is this?
A 1994.
So we're talking one that's 24 years old.
Right.
Now, most people, and because I've known you so long, Paul Fabiano, 2.5, 3 years ago, would have been standing on a bridge somewhere with a bottle and a Bible contemplating his future.
That is so true.
Yes. Now, because the new Paul I know is one of the most positive and find the silver lining in any cloud kind of guy you are, finish that story. How did this turn out?
So the wife and I ended up, we went over and we worked Laughlin. We parked the motorhome. We stayed in it the entire time. We do the Laughlin River Run, which was fantastic this year. We had a really good show. And now I'm supposed to be in Texas doing a show in Lukenbach. The following weekend would have been Kennedy, Texas for the Byron Iron Run, and then over to the Prater Rally. So I missed 2 shows, and I'm being pretty patient, pretty calm about it, trying to look for silver linings, saying, look, we've been at it. My wife and I work at this.
Time out a
we've
second.
been at it.
Time out a second. Understand when he says he missed 2 shows, for a vendor life, that's like you missing, to compare to normal people, that's like you missing 3 weeks of work without pay.
Correct, exactly. Which is where the stress level can normally come in. But, like you said about taking our lives a little bit freer and not being always such a slave to the man and the purse strings that he tends to tie us up with. We said, you know what, look, let's just take some time off. We've got our bike with us, you know what I mean? So the wife and I take some time and we come to Kingman and we're letting this stuff play out. And daily we're dealing with insurance companies and paperwork and blah, blah, blah. But meanwhile, we're also going to give us a 50-year-old restaurant staff. It stopped and ate at when 66 was a big thing. Because we're right out. Kingman is known for having, one of the big stops, especially when you were heading westbound on 66. Kingman was a natural stop for you coming out of the LA area.
Yeah, I saw the picture. I saw the picture you posted on Facebook of you and Miss Teresa said getting our kicks, and you were laying on the 66 sign, Route 66 sign.
66 sign, yeah, right. So, we had fun. We enjoyed the area. We went to Open, saw the little mining community, and we really explored the area, which took all of 3 days. So now for the next, 10 days, we're sitting around our motorhome, unscathed by the fact that, okay, they're totaling this, and they did give you a good dollar figure. So we took the 94 and we brought it to the yard for salvage, and we ended up with a newer 2001, a 31-foot as opposed to 24-foot, with the V10 Ford motor in it. Significantly less mileage.
And 7 years newer, right?
And 7 years newer. 7 feet and 7 years, 7 feet longer and 7 years newer.
That's awesome.
So, out of pocket for me, nada. So, again, one of those examples of positive mental attitudes tend to bring positive things. And then I always find myself, now that I'm at this point, sitting in this, what I consider to be a quite luxurious coach, because originally back in the day, I started doing experiment on my bike and went from tents to the backseat of a pickup truck to the motorhome, now to this motorhome. So I find myself very appreciative of the universe and having some faith and saying thank you for forcing me to take a little time just to relax and enjoy the desert and the scenery out in the area, spend some time with my wife. And, a new motorhome with a nicer shower doesn't suck.
That's right. That's exactly right. And now, for those of you that wonder, yes, this is Paul and Teresa's full-time gig. They travel around. They are jewelry vendors. They sell some of the nicest biker jewelry you'll ever find. Everything. And Paulie also does a little work. You find a wallet chain you like, he can put it on your wallet, adjust the length of it to suit your height, weight, and what you're trying to portray in your style. And, they're at the mercy of a lot of things because, first off, there is a lot of road travel. Like you said, I've seen posts and videos on your Vendor Life TV of wheel bearing issues that, oh, dear God. I don't.
We sometimes travel, like you say, in pony style, where some of us vendors will hook up and travel in tandem as we roll from one show to the next. And, it's a biker creed, a biker code thing. We don't leave our friends on the side of the road. So when one of us has a problem, we all do. So we all stop and we figure it out. And earlier in the year across the country, the buddy I was traveling with, Lloyd and Madonna, blew a wheel bearing on their trailer. So we stop, we fix that, we spend the day, we get it fixed good, we start rolling in his. Later that same evening, I blow a wheel bearing on my trailer. And the same thing. They stop, we get parts, we get things together, and we move forward. It's an imperfect world, and things break. And over the years, look, when I was in my 20s, nothing really bothered me because, we had the joy of being 20, and we'll just crack another bottle or do whatever, and, we'll figure this out. As we start to take away some of those vices for the hope to contain them, then we start to deal with these type of issues with another attitude of, look, it's an imperfect world, things break. Luckily, there's money in the bank, you fix it, and you move on to your next gig and make some more money.
That's right. And I want to reflect on that camaraderie that's built when you have a travel buddy. It's the same whether you and your rig are headed to the next event or you and your bike are just out for a cruise. When you've got a brother or sister running with you, that's if they're in case you need help or you're there in case they need help, it's always better to run together with someone, and it does create a brotherhood and a sisterhood and a friendship that is unmatchable. You think you've got friends in day-to-day life and this, that, and the other thing, but go 1,800 miles away from home out in the middle of South Dakota where between Sturgis and Cheyenne, Wyoming, there ain't a whole lot of anything.
Right.
And you got to be able to deal with your situation and your problem with those you have around you. And it's always good to travel like that. Like I said, it creates a brotherhood and a sisterhood that you just can't imagine.
I tend to travel with vendors that are a lot like yourself and myself that are like-minded, that this isn't just a job that we do. It is the lifestyle, and not part of the biker community. Without a vendor in the parking lot, it's just a parking lot.
Now,
so we do tend...
I got to share this story about you. Paulie's not kidding when he said he started on his motorcycle, graduated to the back of a pickup truck. This brother just 3 years ago in 2015 was hanging here at the house, and we had 2 weeks between rallies. And dude gets instead of getting in his truck and driving home to see Miss Teresa, he said, dude, if I unload my bike, can I leave my truck here? I said, yeah, where are you going? He said, we got 2 weeks. I'm going home and see the wife for a little while. Jumps on his Dyna Wide Glide, not an ultra classic, not a Road King, hell, not even a Fat Boy. This dude jumps on a Dyna with drag bars on it and drives 874 miles home to close to Ocala, Florida is where you used to live, right?
Crescent City, Florida.
Okay, yeah, sorry, yeah. Crescent City. Drives all the way home to Crescent City, spends 5 days with his wife, and then here he comes cruising back in my neighborhood one Sunday afternoon so we could leave Monday to go to the next rally. I'm like, you just jump on and go, huh? He said, yeah, man, that's what happens. You got to take a ride. I needed to clear my head, and I wanted to see my wife. I said, how plugged up was your head that you needed 867 miles?
you know as well as me. You caught a lot of stuff up with the head. You know?
That is correct. But I've got to tell you, Paulie, you're one of the truest friends and truest brothers I've ever had the pleasure and opportunity of meeting. And I'm so excited to start this segment with you. And as long as his schedule permits, every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m., we'll be talking to Paul Fabiano from Vendor Life TV, checking in, seeing how life on the road is treating him today, and wishing you and Miss Teresa a great deal of pleasure and happy travels till I talk to you again, my brother.
Thank you very much, Thunder. And I just want to say thank you for having me on the show. It's great to be part of this. It's awesome to see you back doing so well, man. And you talk about your bump on the head quite a bit, so it's not like I'm saying anything out of line here. Dude, your recovery has been amazing. You're an inspiration to all of us that say, you know what, it's just too fucking hard. Really? Let me tell you about too hard. Let me tell you about a man named Tucker,
I appreciate that.
What you're doing is amazing, and we appreciate the positive attitude and a little smile that you can put on our face each and every day. It's really an honor for me to be part of your show.
Well, I'm honored to have you, my friend, and look forward to talking to you next week.
We will talk to you next Tuesday.
Have a great one, Pauline.
This weekend we will be in Crater Valley. That's one of Blowout shows. I think you know Blowout.
Yeah. Clear your phone up there a little bit. You got a little static. Where are you going to be this weekend?
Okay. This weekend we'll be at Crater Rally in Henderson, Texas.
Henderson, Texas for Crater Rally.
Right. A great show. It's a 21 and up thing, so, come willing to party or don't come. And we're going to be out there along with, I think there's about 20-25 vendors. So it should be a really good time. It should be a great show. And like I said, next Tuesday I'll be able to give you the lowdown on exactly what happened. And as always, Vendor Life TV, YouTube, plenty of footage, and just see what kind of daily grind that we go through every day out here on the rally circuit.
And let me tell you, it's very entertaining. Because I'm doing this and trying to rebuild myself out on the road. I live vicariously through Paulie right now, and you can too by keeping up with all of the latest and greatest events on the road with Vendor Life TV.
Thanks very much, Thunder. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Peace, mi amigo.
Peace, buddy.
That's Mr. Paulie Fabiano. We're glad to add that segment to the Walrus Attacks podcast. I got a little more music coming up for you. At 11 o'clock, we'll be discussing the Walrus Wonders question of the day. Welcome to the program, y'all.
Lost in my mind,
Happy Tuesday, Walrus Nation. It's a pretty day. They say this evening's going to be a little sketchy with some possible severe thunderstorms again, like we talked about earlier in the show. They rolled through here a little bit last night, so we can anticipate them again. We're hoping they stay away for the weekend. We've got big plans this weekend, May 19th, up at Uncle Bob's Corral in the Woods. We're doing an outlawed jamboree, a day full of music, entertainment, and vendors. I'll be there. Good Lord willing, the weather holds out for that. I'll be there with the choppers. And then on the 20th, Rock Hall's Spring Bike Fest at Rock Hall Landing there in town. It's a 12 noon start, I think, to 4 or 5 o'clock. It's a day trip. Come enjoy the afternoon with us and hang out. And then later on in June, I believe it's June 10th, we will be at a event for Knights of the Fallen. It's the second annual Operation Red Line Poker Run, ride-in motorcycle show, Sunday, June the 10th, 2018. It's 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 300 Newark Avenue at Elkton. And the proceeds of this event benefit the Singularly Volunteer Fire Company. The show registration and general admission is $5. The poker run's an additional $10. If you're interested, you can look it up on Facebook. Knights of the Fallen, they'll have their operations there. And then in July, we will be at another event somewhere in Cecil County. Hold on, I got my papers messed up here. There it is. That one is, what's the date? July the 14th, and it's at the Elkton VFW again for Knights of the Fallen. So those two dates, keep those in mind. And then for a little further out on your calendar, it's the 10th anniversary Ride for the Animals benefiting the Baltimore Bully Crew and Maryland SPCA. It's August 5th, 2018. It's also an event on Facebook you can look up, and yours truly will be participating in that as well. So be sure you check out all the upcoming events, mark your calendars, and if you can get out, come say hi, have your picture taken, and pick up one of the Thunder Walrus's Crazy Bitch Entertainment shirts or our white trash shirts. It helps support this podcast and keep us on the air and helps the Walrus Nation grow just a little bit. Now, I said we'd be discussing the Walrus Wonders questions of the day. Right now, I've got to give the most politically correct answer to my man, Huffy the Clown. Wayne Huffman was the very first one. He said he's going to spend half on his wife and spoil her for a day. Then when that's done, the other half goes into his trike. Huffy's got a pretty cool trike that Jerry Tully from Custom Auto and Cycles did up for him, and it's really nice. So he's going to spend half the money on his wife, spoil her for a day, and then the rest of it goes into his motorcycle. God bless you, Huffy. Doug Oliver, it's spending on his bike. And our friend Natalie, who is in charge and puts on the Ride for the Animals, celebrating the 10th anniversary of that this year, said I would use it for the Ride for the Animals to help the furry animals, pay off lingering card debt, and pay off a medical bill. Those are all things. Our dear friend Midnight Rider says she'd book a hotel room for a few days, buy gas cards, and come visit her friends in Maryland. Well, darling, you wouldn't have to book a hotel. You got a room here anytime you need it at the Walrus compound, darling. So come on and see us. Pam Pie's getting a spa day and a really, really nice dinner. With $1,000, a spa day is going to cost you about $300. You can go to Ruth's Chris for $700, so you can do just about anything you wanted. Roger, our buddy from Bad Bunny Entertainment, says he'd go to a casino in hopes of doubling it, but actually he'd basically be donating it. Diana says a tattoo. Our buddy Dustin says he'd donate it to a dog shelter because that's the kind of guy he is. He's one of those four-legged fur crazy guys, him and his buddy Max. Of course, Ralph, he's always our NRA guy. He's going to buy a new gun. And Mr. Rodney said the wife and I could always use some new ink. And you, Walter, God bless you, Hugh. Weed, lots of weed. Be sure you go by my Tim Yarsh Facebook page and check out the Walrus Wonders question of the day. Be sure to post your answer, and we'll discuss them live on air every day. And I appreciate y'all's participation. Stick around. I got more entertainment, more music, and a lot more fun on this edition of the Walrus Attacks podcast here on Spreaker.com.
Straight line, walk the crooked one too. Walk the uphill climb, look you back home to you. Walking back, if it takes the rest of my time. Walking back, if it takes the rest of my life. Walking back to you, walking back to you, walking back to you, back to my baby. Walk with troops in line, walk with drunks and fools too. Walk a long mile in a younger man's shoes. Walking back, if it takes the rest of my time. Walking back, if it takes the rest of my life. Walking back to you, walking back to you, walking back to you, back to my baby. Walking back, walking back, walking back to you. All right, thank you very much.
Hey guys, Joe Cat's doing it for us.
Good afternoon. That's not afternoon yet. It feels like afternoon. 11 o'clock. It's not even noon yet. Wake up, son. Pay attention to what you're doing. Just got a post from my buddy Roger at Bad Bunny. I run down the events I was going to be at, and surely by mistake, I forgot the 21 and older adult biker party contest and rallies, a giveaway of $5,000 in 10 $500 raffles. So they're going to do 10 $500 raffles for a total of $5,000 in giveaway, a gun raffle, cold beer, live music. Yours truly will be there, and Bad Bunny Entertainment and Roger are the MC and host of the thing. I'll be there giving him a hand. It's right over in Carroll County. You can find it on Facebook. Roger just shared it to my Facebook page, and I'll be sure to share it to the Thunder Walrus fan page as well. Now, back to our stories for the day. I know a lot of people prepare to venture out for the summer vacations, and there's an old habit performed at the gas pump that we need to break. It's called topping off the tank. This is a little public service, and I'm as guilty as hell of it. Most men are. And my wife is not. I don't know if women have this bad habit or not, but you stick the nozzle in your gas tank, you pull the lever, and hang out. And when it kicks off, telling you it's full, I've always got to get it rounded off to the nearest dollar. And if I can't do that, I at least get it to the $50. It just makes my math easier for me. I hate, and the bad part about this, I only learned and developed that habit when I was balancing and managing my own checkbook. I haven't seen a checkbook in 12 years. Haven't had to balance a checkbook in 12. Pam Pie is the accountant, takes care of all our money or lack thereof, whatever the case may be. But yet I still have to squeeze that extra in there. It's got to be an even number for me. Very simple math and just a bad habit. But in doing so, because these new cars have all this electronic apparatuses on them, topping off your tank can actually damage the electronic system that takes the fume vapors out and your catalytic converter type stuff. But in that tank, it removes the fumes out of the tank and siphons them off into the exhaust, I believe. And this Atlanta reporter for 11 Alives guy, that's his name, 11 Alives Y guy, he spoke to an automotive mechanics around the metro Atlanta area to learn the reasons why you don't do this. And as soon as I can scroll down this page far enough to remember what they were, I'll share them with you. It comes with an evaporative emission system. That's the word I was looking for. It collects the gas fumes to keep them from leaking into the environment, all that EPA stuff. And so when you squeeze added fuel into your tank, you can actually force liquid gasoline into that evaporative emission system rather than just fumes, which damage that system. And if you do that, it causes your emission system to fail the emissions test and can also cause the system to need to be replaced, which could be as much as $1,000 just because you wanted to squeeze an extra 50 cents or so into that. Why do we do that? I mean, it's not just our gas tanks, is it, men? I'll always try to squeeze one more piece of garbage into that trash bag before I take it out. I'll try to squeeze one more set of clothes into your luggage before you close it and accept the fact you need 2 bags. It can't get past it. It's men. We're just made. I can get one more in there. Even when I'm working with my buddy Wayne at the T-shirt shop, helping him print T-shirts, I'm folding and stacking the shirts. I can get 5 more. I can get one more fold of shirts in there. Don't stuff the boxes so full. They're going to blow apart before they get to their destination that they're being shipped to. But, that stuff in that gasoline tank, not a good plan, folks. So, when the nozzle kicks off, call her done and hang her up. Save yourself $1,000. This is the Walrus Attacks podcast for this Tuesday, May the 15th, 2018. Got to give a shout out to a lot of folks that helped us be here today, be here yesterday, and good Lord willing, they'll help us to continue to be here each and every day. Our buddy Big Papa Tony DeVille at DeVille Link Tattoo and Piercing Company. They're down on Eastern Avenue in Baltimore. Be sure you check them out for all your tattoo and piercing needs. And hey, if you want a little good entertainment, give him a call. Papa Tony, he's got a band called WTF. Yep, that's exactly what it stands for. That's exactly what it means. WTF. They always put on a good show, and for some of the best tattoo and artwork on the East Coast. Be sure you check out Tony DeVille. We appreciate him so very much. And Vendetta Wear, Wayne and Michelle, they take care of making sure I've got a good supply of Walrus and White Trash Crazy Bitch Entertainment shirts when I hit the road for an event. If you've got an event coming up, your company shirts, you need a T-shirt printer, be sure you check out Vendetta Wear. Be sure to let him know the Thunder Walrus sent you. And L's County Line Bar and Grill. We appreciate those folks. They bought what used to be the Dewdrop Inn, renovated it, created one of the hottest spots in the Baltimore-Harford County area. It's cool, it's new, and it's inviting. They welcome you in. It's a very biker-friendly bar. They've got an outside stage, an outside bar that's always full of entertainment. Bike night's there on Wednesday night, and hoping that I can make it down there this Wednesday to come hang out with everybody. Good Lord, weather permitting. And Churchville Family Dentistry, Dr. Phillips and her staff, they've been my dentist. She was taking care of my teeth before the accident, and after the accident, been very gracious and helpful in correcting the damage that was done. I cracked a few teeth and minor things, nothing really important, but that crown I went for yesterday, well, it turns out the crown wasn't to her liking, the permanent one. So she said, we're going to redo a new mold and send that off to have the crown remade because she didn't like it. So I'm still gnawing around on this temporary crown for right now, but I'll be back to see Dr. Phillips and her staff in 3 weeks. And for your family dentistry care, they accept most PPO insurances, preferred provider something, PPO, organization, preferred provider organization, we'll go with that. But if you have a PPO insurance, they accept most and are accepting new customers. So be sure to stop by, say hi, and let them know the Thunder Walrus sent you, and they'll help your smile, give you that bright white one you're looking for all summer long. This is the Walrus Attacks podcast on Spreaker.com.
James, I can tell you who stole third and who won the game. Hockey pucks and whitetail bucks. I get a little road rash with idiot luck. I'm a man, I don't walk so pro. Winfrey on TV, that ain't me. No, that ain't me. I had to buy a pickup truck, biggest one around. Boys together for a night on the town. Blow it up like it's World War III. If you wanna see a girly man, that ain't me. That ain't me. Well, I can take a ride on anything with two wheels. And I can look a woman in the eye and tell you how she feels. By the campfire all night long, drinking JD till the early morning. Camel boots, no high-class suit. The going gets rough and sticking to my roots. I'm a man, I don't walk so strong. Winfrey on TV, that ain't me. No, that ain't me.
Happy Tuesday to you, Walrus Nation. It's May the 15th, 2018. don't know why I feel the need to keep reminding you of that, because some folks don't listen to this live broadcast, and they may not listen to it till the 16th or the 17th, but I guess they'll know what day it was actually aired. One of the hot topic conversations in today's society is bullying. A systemic problem, I believe, and here's a little proof positive. You're not going to believe the story I found and where all this takes place, because as I was reading the story from San Francisco is where it originated, the Associated Press, is a high volume of bullying. Unwanted people turned away from the cafeteria tables. Fist fights broke out at karaoke events. Dances become almost pornographic breeding grounds for gossip and cruelty and whatever else somebody's wanting to get their groove on. And it became very clear that this facility had a bullying problem on its hands. What the most surprising part was that all of the bullying took place, the bullying was done by and perpetrated on senior citizens. This is a nursing home and senior centers and housing complexes for the elderly are starting to introduce programs for training and policies aimed at curbing spats of bullying, an issue once thought exclusive domain of the young. If the older generations are reverting back to this type of bullying and a way of separating themselves and keeping to their own, quote, don't you believe this is something they learned earlier in life, and that it's been not just this generation's problem, it has been a multi-generational problem in our society? And even talking about the violence, unfortunate incidents that have happened during hazing, which is considered another type of bullying. As my dentist was chatting with me yesterday while working on my teeth, hazing is part of, or was a part of, traditional college life, joining a fraternity. But it has escalated to such ridiculous levels of what you have to do that they're jeopardizing the lives. But, my dentist even said, a little not even full streak, but, have to run down the block in your undergarments, just do something a little wild, a little crazy, but nothing like drinking to an excess and causing someone harm. But bullying is not new. When you're having this kind of problem in senior centers, man, it's maybe it's a society problem. And if we are just now getting around to addressing it, but the levels of bullying have taken on spite and meanness, not to say that bullying in general is not necessarily mean, but somewhere along the line, we all have to learn to thicken up our skin a little bit. Our skin has to get a little toughened up and realize not every day is going to be peachy keen and full of cherries and ice cream, and not everybody gets a trophy. If that was the case and people at a young age were taught to understand that, maybe you'd have less people getting so damn drunk they fall off the 4th floor balcony at the Luxor Casino. Just a thought from your Uncle Tim. I'm here to help you people. This is the Walrus Attacks podcast on Spreaker.com. We appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the show, and I hope you will spread the news. Share the love with your friends and neighbors and enemies. Hell, I don't care who you call. Just share it with somebody that the Walrus Attacks podcast is back and full of fun and entertainment. We've still have your dose of positive energy, your daily dope, as we like to call it, coming up to help keep you in that positive mind frame where you can be like Mr. Paul Fabiano and just lay back and let things unfold. Don't let it stress you too much. Every problem has a solution. Don't ever forget that. Here's a little music coming up for you. I'll be back with more fun, more entertainment. Welcome to the program, y'all.
Professional gambler, the gamble is up. The cards have been laid out. It's you who are stuck. Professional gambler, the dice have been thrown. You may never return to the life you have once known. You made your decision, you must follow through. Got to wait and watch you now. You got to stay true. Tables are turning, the times they have changed. It's time to get used to a life rearranged. Now is the time for the game to begin. How could you lose when you knew how to win? It's a question they'll ask you again and again, and still never find out the truth. Counting them cards now was a simple task. Now you must sit back as the guards them harass. Locked up in prison like a common thief. They got you where they want you now. Can you smell their relief? Gamble your freedom for life behind bars. The press tried to mold you. They want to make you a star. You aren't the first one, but you might be the best. Top of the stack, you passed every test. Life is too easy for this type of guy. Must make a game out of life to get by. Could have been anything if you gave it a try, but that wouldn't give you a thrill. No, that wouldn't give you a thrill. Over 30 banks, and only once had to shoot. 15 years to catch you, they never found all the loot. Getting away now, through water and wood. Trained to survive, just like you should. Trained by the system that you chose to fight. I run for the money in broad daylight, right under their noses. You still played your game, deceptive and calm, a face without a name. Gambling's no living, you told me before. Advice from a friend, nothing less, nothing more. Well, girl, I know what the warning was for, but I still had to roll them bones. I still had to roll them bones. Professional gambler, y'all. Thank you.
That's New Kings of Rhythm there out of the Philadelphia area. Folks, we like to think our military's on top of things, right? And got our backs, got us covered. And then things like this happen. A 91st Missile Wing Security Forces team from the Minute Air Force Base out in South Dakota has apparently lost a container of ammunition. It was traveling between missile sites in Mountrail County, according to the news release the Air Force issued late Friday. Now here's the problem. They issued the statement Friday, but they lost the ammunition on May 1st. Now, these are grenades. Let me see. They're intended ammunition for, you all know what this is. I don't. The team was traveling on rough roads about 4 miles west of Parshall when the back hitch of the vehicle opened and an ammunition container fell out, the Air Force said. The ammunition is considered safe as long as the container is intact. That's according to Lieutenant Colonel Jamie Humphreys, who is a spokesman for the Minute Air Force Base. However, damage to the container or its contents could lead to an explosion or injury, he said. He said if the ammunition is located and it is damaged, the area should be evacuated. People should call 911 or the Minute Munitions Reporting Hotline at 701-723-7909. The missing ammunition is a belt of grenade rounds contained in a green metal ammo container. It is meant for use with the MK-19 machine gun grenade launcher. Now, of course, we're not out there in the Dakotas where they are, but now that this is out, can you imagine how many people are out there running around? I'm getting me a belt full of grenades. Mm-hmm. I'd be one of them, but they wait 10 days to tell us they lost it. They must have been spent 10 days out there looking for it. Something's done got it, or somebody's done got it, and now they decide to go, hey, if this is damaged, be very afraid of it because it could ruin your weekend. A whole box of grenades. How do you not know you're going to be traveling on rough roads and make sure you got the most important thing you need, your ammunition? You can show up at a fight all you want with a weapon, but if you ain't got no ammunition for it, you've messed up. Hopefully the Air Force will find this, and if anyone has relatives out in that area, tell them if they find it, don't jump on it or think you found the pot of gold, but you may have, because the Air Force is offering a $5,000 reward for the safe return and location and return of this box of ammunition. That's the last thing we need floating around in some lunatics' hands. You know, it's one thing all right, they're not doing enough to keep guns out of the hands of mentally ill people, and I say that with respect. They are disturbed. They have disturbed thoughts. They suffer from some type of mental illness, and yet they still get through background checks. But now we're just leaving grenades out on the side of the road for people to find. That's awesome. This is the Walrus Attacks podcast here on Spreaker.com. I appreciate y'all listening and hope you will spread the word. Let's share it with your friends, your neighbors. Hell, I don't care if you tell your enemies. Just tell somebody that the Walrus Attacks podcast is here for your entertainment and pleasure. It's live every day, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and you can listen at your leisure by going to Spreaker.com/walrusattacks. The podcaster there. Hear something fun or need to write down some information you heard during the show, you can listen at your leisure. And look for the Walrus coming to an event near you. We're looking forward to the Outlaw Jamboree this weekend. A lot of good music, a lot of fun. And also on Sunday, Rock Hall's Spring Bike Fest. If this weather holds out, man, weather forecast I watched this morning said this stormy, wet weather may not break until like Monday or something. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. And if not, we'll work it out. We'll do what we can. Here's a little living off your dime for you. Maybe. There we go.
I was born and raised in the South, you see. Nobody was there but Mama and me. My daddy never seemed to be around. He was all too busy in another town. We were mining and panning and cutting wood, doing everything that we could just to make $1 so we could eat. We'd be up at 5 and down at the creek. But nowadays, there are people standing in line, getting something for nothing. Hell, they're doing it all the time. They're living off your dime. Living off your dime. We worked hard for what we got. We had a little bit, but didn't have a lot. We broke our backs from sun till set, doing what we could to get what we get. We're country people and we're country strong, flying our flags and doing no wrong, working our tractors and four-wheel drives, planting and plowing just to stay alive. Nowadays, there are people standing in line, getting something for nothing. Hell, they're doing it all the time. They're living off your dime. Living off your dime. They're living off your dime. Living off your dime. Get a job, you lazy son of a bitch.
That's a little living off your dime. I believe that was from Tim Wiedow a fellow out in Ohio that we had the opportunity to meet and liked his music. If you have a band or know of a family member or a friend that has a local band and wants some hear their original music played, have them send me an email at tyarsh01. That's TYAROSH01 at gmail.com, and they can attach a MP3 file of their original music and some background about their band. I'll be glad to play them. That way my YouTube share doesn't get knocked off for copyright, and we also give an opportunity to local bands, and we're an internet-based radio podcast here, so I don't care if you're local to Cincinnati, Ohio, or Oakland, California, Key West, Florida, or Bangor, Maine, anywhere in between those areas. Send me an email. I'll be glad to play your music and look forward to having an opportunity to interview you. Now, we're going to step off into a story here that helps remind us you get what you pay for. Sometimes quality does have a monetary value, and how big a risk are you ready to take? And thank God this didn't happen out there where they lost them great grenades at. But a Twin Cities man was cruising out on I-94 in central North Dakota, about 15 miles west of Mandan. According to the Highway Patrol, the driver, Trevor Susla, a 21-year-old man from Chanhassen, he wasn't injured, but his phone charger burst into flames. You know, we all have them in our cars, those little USB port things. You plug it into the cigarette lighter, and then you can plug your phone charger into that. Yeah, well, this man's Nissan Xterra was burned beyond recognition. I mean, when it went up like somebody poured gasoline on him. May have, who knows, couldn't afford to pay for it. But either way, fire investigators are blaming it on the phone charger. Firefighters from nearby Salem arrived and doused the flames, but not before the SUV was burned completely, according to a spokesperson from the Highway Patrol. He was driving a Nissan Xterra, and the incident closed the interstate for 10 minutes as emergency responders cleaned up the scene. But here's the problem. It was burned so badly, it only took 10 minutes to clean up the scrap and get it out of there. I mean, there was nothing left but metal. If it was plastic, fabric, or made of anything other than metal, it burned, man. I saw pictures of it in the article that I found about it. And so be wary. Be sure you invest a little extra money in your electronics before you plug them into your car, before you start a barbecue, as Detour Dave Sandler used to say on a local radio station here in the Baltimore area. It's a barbecue. Well, that feller had him one, and the bad part about it was he didn't have no wieners to roast except his own, and thank God he got his out of there before it got roasted. So keep that in mind. Sometimes cheap ain't always better. I know I've been one to buy those things at the 7-Eleven checkout or Royal Farms, wherever. Just needed a charger. Put it in there. And 10 minutes later, now you need a car. That was a bad decision, right? Coming up on that lunchtime hour, I know my belly's starting to feel the empty spot in it. We're creeping up on the noontime hour. Shortly after noon, we'll be sharing your daily dope. That's your dose of positive energy to help you find a silver lining in whatever cloud you may be dealing with. Or if you're already in a happy mood, we're just going to try to elevate your spirits and make you just a little bit happier and maybe a little bit brighter. And if nothing else, we'll try to put a smile on your face. I've got some Silver Tongue coming up. Your daily dope coming up after the 12 o'clock hour. Welcome to the Walrus Attacks podcast here on Spreaker.com.
Your kind one too many.
times he lives his life, sadly this way. And he knew that it was wrong to take it out on him. And he knew it all along. The follow goes to him. Holds on to life before it's much too late.
Welcome to the program, everybody. This is the Walrus Attacks podcast for Tuesday, September. Where am I at? May the 15th. CD skipped again, jumped ahead a few months, y'all. It's May the 15th, 2018. And I want to share this story with you. It's just a good story, and kudos to the dude. This guy breaks a world record climbing the 7 highest summits on the planet in under 4 months. Last year, the record was set for doing this at 125 or 26 days. This young man, Steve Plain, did it in 117 days. But here's the remarkable part of his story. This brother did it after overcoming a broken neck. He broke his neck in a surfing accident. The story goes on to say the ascent of Mount Everest, which Mr. Plain completed on Monday, was the final hurdle in a 117-day mountaineering journey across the world. That's just nuts to me. He had already climbed Mount Vinson in Antarctica. Can't pronounce that one. Mount Aconcagua in South America. Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa. Karsten's Pyramid in Australia. Mount Elbrus in Europe. And Mount Denali in North America. And the fact, again, the feat is even more remarkable given Mr. Plain suffered a hangman's fracture of his neck in a surfing accident on some beach back in 2014. His spinal injury was pretty severe, they said. His Tanya Plain said her brother had achieved more than he expected after his spinal injury inspired him to make the world record attempt. His aim was always to do it in 4 months. The record that was set last year, as I said, was 126 days, just over the 4-month mark, and he has now achieved his result in 117 days, which is just under the 4-month mark. Steve broke his neck in a surfing accident, which left him potentially paralyzed. He is one of the very fortunate few that have recovered from this by himself. Now, by himself, as there is no actual cure for this type of spinal injury, his condition since recovery is pretty well close to 100%, his sister says. Now, that's just dedication to the power of the human mind. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. And if you set your mind to it, you can do it. This fella's also climbed many other peaks in Australia, New Zealand, Peru, and Nepal. His ultimate goal was Project 7 in 4, which was his attempt to conquer the world's biggest peaks while raising awareness and funding for Surf Life Saving Washington and Spinal Cure Australia. Raising money for good causes, using his recovery to make other people aware that, hey, recovery is possible. And now, hang on, CD skipped a minute. That's all right. It goes on to say that it did take a physical toll on him. Man, it's going to take a physical toll on a person that has not recovered from such an injury. But stuff just wear and tear on the body. He lost a little muscle mass, but to come from a spinal injury, not to just get up and walk again, but to climb the 7 highest peaks on the planet in under 4 months, that's quite a task. I know athletes that are professional athletes that probably couldn't endure that. The cold up on Everest and the conditions and the travel from continent to continent that sets in jet lag, and then I'd be like, screw this, I'm sleeping today. Before you know it, we'd be up into the 6-month mark and there'd be no world record to set. But positive energy, boys and girls, positive energy. You got to stay focused on it. You have to believe it. It's all the power of your mind. The mind is one of the most powerful computers on the planet, and this is just my personal opinion. And you know, I am crazy, but you can even think I'm a little crazier than you first perceived. I believe our minds are like those old projectors we seen in school, and the world in our life is that big white screen that, you know, we used to get shown pictures of stuff in geography class. This is the Continental Divide, and this is the Rocky Mountains, and blah, blah, blah. This is what the Grand Canyon looks like. Our mind's that projector, and our lives is that screen. And whatever you play out in your mind, whatever you can create a picture of and cast onto that screen will come to fruition in your life. You got to believe in the power of your mind and believe in the universe. Positive energy breeds positive outcomes. Stick around. We'll be back for that dose of daily dope. Here's a little silver tongue for you.
Checkmate.
Game over. You lose.
I'm not exactly sure what happened there. We were in the middle of a Ghost of War song, and then we jumped off into the next song coming up. So I'm not sure whether that music track has a problem or not. It must. So anyway, we'll just cut it short and say welcome to the Walrus Attacks podcast for this Tuesday, May the 15th, 2018. Told you we'd be back with your dose of daily dose of positive energy coming up. And you get, I know I got, still get, always probably will. It's part of human nature. We get dragged down by the things that happen to us, or things that didn't go the way we planned or anticipated. Something didn't work out the way we were hoping it would, and hopefully working very hard towards. But you have a choice, and that choice is to feel sorry for yourself, or you can treat what happened as a gift. And I know you say, what? A gift? Yes, a gift. It can be. And the gift may not be what you wanted, but the gift could be something that teaches you a very valuable lesson that benefits you later on in life, or helps you develop a new coping mechanism to deal with difficult situations in your life. It's a gift. Everything happens for a reason. And I know these are all cliches that you've heard over and over again in your life. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger and all of that stuff. But there is a reality to that, and you have to take that mentality and apply it to the reality. What didn't kill me made me stronger. So this didn't kill me, but it sure changed me. So where did I get stronger? How did this help me? What am I learning from this? And those kind of basic life skills, we don't always get the opportunity to develop as a child. And as I was recovering and going through the therapy of my accident, whether it was speech therapy or physical therapy or cognitive memory therapy, there was an ideology that, what am I learning from this? Why, I learned to speak the first time when I was a year, 2 years old. Why at the age of 48, 49 am I having to learn to do this again? And it was hard to figure out. I mean, I wasn't that bright of a guy before I bumped my head. And then I had to figure all of this life stuff out after I bumped my head. And so that made it even more complicated. But there are things to learn. And that one is, you're not in control of anything. Your life can change in an instant without you having any awareness of it coming. And not that the accident in itself wasn't enough, the aftermath of the accident. Why does this keep happening to me? And I'll be honest, there was a time I did want to crawl into a hole and feel sorry for myself, and why me? But through support and love of a lot of people, not just my wife and close family, but friends, people that know me, people that have been around me. And one of those fellas is my buddy Hillbilly, Billy White from up in Pennsylvania. He bikerlist.com and Strip Club Choppers, PA, New Jersey guy. Y'all know who I'm talking about. You heard about him a lot. That old boy come down here and stayed with me and talked and said, look, man, you're tougher than this. You're better than this. You're stronger than this. And gave me that almost like football coach's speech or a trainer to his boxer, you know, a trainer to his MMA fighter. Not that I'm any of those. I'm football player. Yeah, all right, so let's go with a lacrosse coach or football coach, something that I really was. Not a coach, but a player. And it gave me that motivation that, hey, dude, you have the opportunity. You have to do this. All my doctors could tell me was start therapy and let's see how good you can get. And I'm sure similar statements were made to that young man, Mr. Plain, that set a world record. Those you just don't have any real concept of what motivation with a little inspiration and faith. You got to understand that everything happens for a reason, and you have a choice to whether to feel sorry for yourself or get up and show the metal you're made of. And I know if you're listening to this program today, you're made of the same metal I am. You got a little fight in you. You got a little desire to live life to the fullest, whatever that means for you. Living life for the fullest for me means something totally different than other folks. But don't ever let what happens to you get you down and get you to a point where you feel sorry for yourself. And if you start feeling sorry for yourself, call that support system. Call that friend that's always there when you need to talk to them. Call that brother, sister, aunt, uncle, your mom, your dad, if you still have the blessings of being able to call them. But don't let that mindset set in. Once you start feeling it, do what you got to do to break it. Because in the reality of it is, there's a lesson for you to be learned that is going to help you sometime in the future. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be next month. It might take up till next year. But if it happened for a reason. And you have a choice to make it either an opportunity to grow or an obstacle to keep you from growing. That's how you have to look at life. It's either an opportunity to grow or an obstacle to prevent me from it. You have to be the judge of that. Only you can make that decision and deal with it accordingly. If it's an obstacle preventing you from growing, figure out how to get around it, over it, through it, or make it go away, whatever it takes, and find the opportunity to grow in each and everything that happens to you. You'll find a positive attitude. You'll find more positive outcomes, and that snowball just keeps happening. It's a snowball that'll roll continually if you'll just get it started. So there's your dose of positive energy for this Tuesday. That's your daily dope. I've got some more music coming up for you and a little bit more entertainment before we call it a day. Here's, I'm not sure who this is. I believe this is Ghost of War, but it may not be. Let's play it and see. Good luck.
Well, the first day I remember, second day was blurred. I soaked my brain in alcohol and images of her. Yes, she said that she was leaving. She said, go and have yourself some fun. So I spent 4 days drinking with a gun. Well, I took it to heart and what she said, headed for the door. I didn't have bad intention, wasn't looking to even score. I was just going out to down a few, have a little fun. So I spent 4 days drinking with a gun. Yeah, I woke up this morning
Happy Tuesday to you, Walrus Nation. You got to give me a second here as I'm trying to shut this other computer up. It's got a video playing. There we go. Ever been worried about, a robot uprising and losing your job to robots and blah, 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 artificial intelligence taking over? Well, those wonderful mad scientists at Boston Dynamics, you may say I've heard that before. Yeah, they were once associated with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. Well, once again, they've pushed humanity closer towards a seemingly inevitable robot uprising. The same thing people started worrying about in the 70s. Well, we possibly have gotten real close to that. First, these fellas and gals got together and brought us the sprinting four-legged beast. If you all hadn't seen that, you can research it. It's a robot, 4 legs, runs, and then they found they created a robot capable of navigating an obstacle course, and then it also performed flawless backflips. Well, here we go again. They now have put their heads together and they're created their pride and joy, a humanoid robot named Atlas with the ability to run. Now, Boston Dynamics' goal in all of this is actually a noble one. It hopes to use a sophisticated engineering and technology will have practical applications in the real world. Those could include search and rescue operations, assisting troops in the field, and humanitarian efforts that are too dangerous for human beings to handle. You now have, instead of that little robot that goes in and defuses the bomb, now you've got this upright hind leg walking Atlas guy who has the ability to run and can do stuff that, we don't want to send human beings in to do. But until that goal becomes reality, we'll wait for Skynet to become self-aware and, buy new running shoes. That's just creepy, though, man. There's a video of this thing running, and it, what it looks like to me, if you've ever watched the NFL, and I think it's, I forget which network it is, but they have the robotic football player making all the clunking noise, patting himself or doing some exercises. The NFL guy I'm talking about. Well, that's what this thing looks like. It's looked like they've brought that character to life. Pretty impressive and creepy at the same damn time. But hey, we all knew we were going to get here at some point, right? And it's guys, I went to school. I didn't go to school with him. He was a couple years older than I was, so he was out by the time I was going. But there was a kid in my neighborhood named Marty, and this was 1983, 82. Marty lived across the street from us, and he was one of those original nerdy guys, the ones that Revenge of the Nerds movie was made about. Smart. God, he was smart. This dude was making little robots and stuff when he was a child in the early 80s. That kind of smart. And I was thinking, man, he's going to be one of the ones that's in a science lab somewhere taking over the world. Well, it wasn't him, but some of his cronies are actually building the warriors and soldiers that will be the robot uprising. Y'all are worried about a zombie apocalypse. It's going to be the damn robots that get us, I guarantee you. So stick around. I'll be back to wrap this thing up here shortly. I've got a little more music for you before I bring you back and bid you a fond farewell. I hope you're having a great Tuesday, Walrus Nation.
Tattoos, fist in the air, hoping to stuck like glue. So we cranked it up for our last song, did another round, bigger bombs, do a shout out, everyone we knew. a Boca Raton, help pay that bill. We're taking 90-mile ride just because we can. Everybody raise your glass with me. Here's a toast to the family. Hey, if you wanna be a road dog, gotta have a road hog. We don't need no reason to ride, and that's alright. You ain't gotta be an outlaw. Shake your face with a chainsaw. Leave the four-wheel drive behind. Hold on tight.
Yeah, okay, I'm sure y'all can pretty well guess that wasn't Ghost of War. See, that CD skipped again. Ghost of War is what I started the last time, and it booted out and throwed that one in. Okay, I remember now. See, it all comes to me. Walrus Nation, it's that time for me to bid you a fond farewell. I hope you have a fabulous Tuesday afternoon. I appreciate those of you listening live here today, and for those of you listening later on at your leisure, appreciate you taking time to check out what happened today on the podcast. Don't forget, folks, your daily dope. Everything is one of two things. It's either an opportunity to grow or an obstacle to prevent you from growing. Be able to figure out and identify which one it is, and then do your best to treat it accordingly to help your life be a more positive, have a more positive mindset, which leads to more frequent positive outcomes. Walrus Nation, I love you and I appreciate you. Thank you to our sponsors that help us be here, DeVille Inc., L's Bar and Grill there in on Route 7 in Baltimore, Harford County, Vendetta Wear, and a special shout out to Jerry Tully and our friends there at Custom Auto and Cycle in Oliphant, Pennsylvania. Appreciate y'all so very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. for the Wednesday edition of the Walrus Attacks Podcast. Peace, Walrus Nation.
That's a woman I'd me those things you did. Night with her is a night I'll always live. There's a time to run and a time to stand your ground. There's a time to play and a time to make my time. Take me for a ride. Baby, won't you take me for a ride? That Texas highway. Baby, won't you take me for a ride? Baby, won't you take me on a ride? That Texas highway. All right. I didn't know what kind of girl she'd be. I also knew that I had to wait and see. He really wasn't what I was looking